So if you're feeling overwhelmed, think about how you could break your business up. But I recommend breaking it into 6 parts: your leadership, sales, marketing, products, your overhead, and your cash flow. Welcome to the Business Bloke podcast. Growing your business doesn't have to be hard. I am your host, Andrew Savage, a business and mindset coach with plenty of leadership tools and strategies to help you grow your life and business. Give yourself permission to get curious, lean in, and enjoy this episode. Today's podcast is all about business strategy because I know growing a business can be overwhelming, and sometimes just retaining business can be overwhelming as well. So for that reason, we need a strategy around our business and how to help us grow along the way. Business strategy is really about just breaking your business up into strategic parts. I was in the police force for 10 years and we used an analogy called freeze, control, preserve when we approached a scene. And that was really about us controlling the situation that was in front of us, taking stock of what was happening at that current time and preserving any evidence that was at the scene, because we knew that that evidence would serve a purpose later on. So the whole thing is about really just maybe stopping, taking a breath, and figuring out what you need to do from here. And one thing you can do from here is break your business up into strategic parts. So I use 6 parts in my business that, when all working in harmony, create a business that will take me a long way. The first one is leadership. Second is sales. Third is my marketing, products, overheads, and cash flow. Those 6 topics, when split apart, will help you strategize and just concentrate on the one thing that you're really having a problem with right now, or maybe it's a couple of things. In the leadership space, number one is mindset, right? Really making sure that you are leading yourself. How you're communicating with yourself is key, and how you communicate with the people around you and your contractors, like the people that you reach out to for help. And reaching out for help is actually key to that as well. So leadership, creating a mission for yourself. Like, why do you get out of bed in the morning, and why would you expect anyone else to get out of bed or join you on your mission? So creating a compelling mission statement is something that I can help you with. In fact, I'll cover that off in the next podcast. So leadership, mindset, communication. Sales is about clarifying your message. And I've seen this in the agribusiness space. How many startups have you seen who've come up with a really cool product, and you sort of a couple of years later they've fizzled? And that is because they haven't got a clarity in their message. And it's really about positioning yourself as a solution to people's problems. Sales is also about having the mindset to ask for the money. Do you know what your money mindset is? But as a kid or as a child, we're quite often taught that money is dirty, like, yuck, yeah, don't put that in your mouth, that's disgusting. So money mindset is quite interesting. And some of the people that I have coached or spoken to in the business leadership space, there were some limitations or limiting beliefs brought up about money, and it was in relation to things they had experienced as a kid. Mum and dad arguing is a good one. Things they went without. There was one occasion where a jar of money had been smashed across the kitchen floor during a domestic situation, and that created a fear of money, and that fear of success sometimes goes along with that. So what is your money mindset? Something interesting to tap into. And the marketing piece, so step 3, so many people, like I mentioned in sales, they fall in love with their product, and all they do is talk about their product. And instead of positioning yourself as a solution to somebody's problem, you talk about your product all day long. And that really switches your potential client off, because they don't wake up in the morning saying, hey, I really need your product. They just wake up with a problem, and they need to know that you have positioned yourself as a solution to their problem, not as someone who is peddling a product. The other thing I see quite often in the ag space, because potentially we live in a limited marketplace, is bad-mouthing other people's products in order to sell your own. And I think that is definitely a good way to turn people off. So your products, speaking of products, that's the other part you need to concentrate on. So if you're having a bit of a problem selling some products, then maybe just spend some time concentrating on the product itself. There's nothing akin to insanity more than selling a product that is losing you money. So I guess have a look at your products or the products that you are thinking about selling, and actually do some calculations and sit down and actually calculate the margins on those products. And can you bundle products together as a solution to someone's problems? Products, definitely something to sit down and strategize about. The fifth step, overheads. And this is the biggie, especially in growing businesses, when we start to employ staff. I've got a restaurant with staff, and I know for a fact that labor and wages is our biggest risk, and it's definitely the biggest expense we have there. Also, I have a couple of VAs in my coaching business, so you've just got to be really careful about productivity. So are you running a productive system for your staff? So if I refer to point one, leadership, creating a mission statement, creating a compelling mission statement actually helps with your overheads as well. If people turn up to work, they know why they're there, then that is definitely a good way to reduce your overheads. But most of all, you need a system. So weekly staff meetings, you definitely need at least a staff meeting a week or fortnightly, and have some structure around that meeting and talk about your targets and goals for the week and problems, and really bring those staff together on a mission during those meetings. Cash flow is the sixth part of the business. If you can strategize your cash flow and try and prevent yourself from running out of money, then that will definitely help. They talk about looking at your bank accounts as looking at where your money all went, but budgeting is about planning on where your money is going to go. So are you just looking at your bank accounts each week, or are you actually being disciplined and sitting down looking at where your money potentially might have to go? Cash flow is also about strategizing where your income is going. And this is not financial advice, but we have opened a series of bank accounts. So we have a business operating account, and all of our money goes into that initially, and we leave in that account akin to our monthly expenses. So our rent, our rates, our power, and those reoccurring expenses that we know we're going to get a certain amount for product goes into that account. So we don't take any drawings or anything from our business operating account, and we actually siphon off a sniff of the top that goes instantly into profit. So we can actually watch that profit grow, but the first thing that comes out of that account is actually tax. So we take 10% of our GST out of that account straight away, if that makes sense. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, think about how you could break your business up, but I recommend breaking it into 6 parts: your leadership, sales, marketing, products, your overhead, and your cash flow. And if you could just concentrate on optimizing one of those, or maybe 2 of those at a time, you'll go a long way to beat the overwhelm. So if you join me on my next 6 podcasts, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to optimize each one of those parts. And I look forward to seeing you in my next podcast, which will be all about leadership, but in particular, how to create a mission statement. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. If you've got this far, you've reached the end of the episode, or you've left your car running. I really hope you got something out of this episode of the Business Bloke podcast, and maybe you've got something to take away to apply to your own business. I'm a pretty friendly bloke, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just look up Andrew Savage, or on Instagram. The handle is The Business Bloke. Thanks for listening. Reach out. and we'll catch up with you soon. Good one. Cheers.